Dun, 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 dun. Wow, I haven't heard that music in a long time. Penny, it has been too long since you and I have gotten together for
Too
this.
long and too dry.
But absolutely. So let's just get things started as usual. We
Yeah.
are the long lost two cantors that walk into a bar. We still can't walk into a bar. I never thought it would be this
That's
going on
because
this
you're in
long.
New Jersey. At least New York. All right, whatever.
Well, anyway, but even if we can go into a bar, I don't think it's a good idea. So we are still virtual. We are imagining we're in a bar. We are all set with our beverage, which we
Yes.
will enjoy as we go along. I am Cantor Matt Axrod of Scotch Plains, New Jersey, and I am here with the scintillating. Have I used
Oh,
that? Have I used
wait,
that
is
one
that with an
before?
S or with a C?
It's both. Okay, so wait. I know I've used that one before because you asked the exact same question last time, and I said it has both. So your job is to go back to all the previous episodes and
Oh,
figure
I've
out
got homework. Thank you.
Okay, but you are in fact scintillating. I am here with the scintillating
Cantor Penny Myers from Buffalo, balmy Buffalo,
Buffalo.
New York.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Matt. I'm not
yes.
sorry. It's
Sorry, not
green
sorry.
outside. Sorry, not sorry. There is no snow. I'm looking outside my window.
That's amazing because in New Jersey, it runs, sometimes we get clobbered with
Both
snow and other times we don't get much snow at all, like last winter. And I think this winter will be the same. But Buffalo, I mean, if you can't count on 8 feet
can't snow.
every week of, of snow in
I,
Buffalo.
but I have to say it, and I'm gonna say it
Uh-oh.
because we all need to hear it.
Wait. I'm going to need a drink if you're going to need to say it. Go ahead.
You might need to drink the entire bottle because I'm gonna say right now. I don't know what day it is. What day is it? Is it Wednesday? Tuesday?
It's Tuesday. Today's Tuesday.
And
We'll talk about what we're doing and what's going on this week in a minute, but go ahead.
no, I was actually going to talk about the incredible, long-awaited Buffalo Bills.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
That's it.
25 years, baby.
So I personally do not follow football. I love baseball, but I don't really follow football. But I did hear that I saw that the Bills won decisively.
Oh.
Is that the correct
Yeah,
terminology
it
for
was
you?
like a basketball score when they played the Dolphins. It was like they scored like 50 some odd points. I'm like, it's like a low scoring basketball game at this point. It's so great. I got
So,
to give a shout out. I love my home city.
of course. And Buffalo loves you too, Penny.
I hope so.
So a couple things. So first of all, for you loyal listeners and now viewers, you remember that last year we came to you live from Palm Springs, California, on location for our annual midwinter conference that we look forward to all year. We are unable to do that this year because nobody is traveling anywhere and nobody's having in-person gatherings, of course. So our conference is virtual and we're still enjoying our chevruta and getting together with all of our friends and colleagues.
Yeah.
Even if, like everything else, it's in little Zoom boxes.
I know. It's so weird. I'm looking at you and I want to see you side by side. I want you to be sitting next to me, unfortunately.
I know. You know what?
It's been a year.
Like everything else, it will return. And I know, Penny, I know you're a very spiritual person. I know you are. So I know you'll really appreciate the fact that no matter what we have to go through, the most important thing is to be thankful and appreciative for all that we have, and that we're healthy and we're safe and we have our family around. And we're privileged enough that all of this is simply an inconvenience. And so many people are not in that category. So,
I want to give a shout out.
We're complaining we don't get to travel to Palm Springs, California. I mean, right? I mean, that puts it in perspective.
Absolutely. And I gotta say, like
Penny's like, I'm not crying, you're crying.
Yeah, that's right. I will say, but I will say, honestly, I have to give a shout out to all of our
Right, everybody turn your volume down. Penny's giving a shout out. Go ahead.
I'm giving a shout out to all of our frontline workers. And I'm saying this because this is near and dear to my heart. I might have mentioned before, my husband is in the medical profession.
You might have mentioned that, yes.
Yes, I might have mentioned that. And so, I'm looking forward to the vaccine being rolled out, as well as efficient as our beloved Israel. But you know, it's a smaller country, of course. So I want to give a shout out to all of our medical and health professionals and psychologists. I
Yeah.
know I'm being a little serious, but I'm very grateful that in when I've had a sniffle over the past year, anytime I've wanted a COVID test, whether
Yeah.
by
Yeah,
mail
we have access to that, and
we
we
have
don't have to
access.
worry about how we can afford it or if we have to pay for it and all. I mean,
Really,
it's all okay. We're getting all maudlin here, but it's all the
yeah,
stuff that we have and we really appreciate. And so I hope that everyone listening is in the same frame of mind and feels the same way. And I have to point out on a different subject, Penny, your room is different, and that is, I mean, this is an A+
oh,
Zoom room you have going on. And there's a thing on Twitter I see it called Room Raider.
oh yeah.
You are, I mean, I'm giving that a solid 10.
Oh, well,
Um,
thank you. This is my family room. I'm actually wearing shoes in my house today.
wow, I can't,
Yep.
I high heels or otherwise, I can't make the same claim. But
You
anyway, what
can,
happens on
you
what
know,
happens on Zoom stays on Zoom. But
yeah, no, but for sure, like this is so I've been usually in the Zoom room in my house, which is in my rehearsal space and also otherwise known as the office. We are, I'm so grateful um, to have all this technology
yeah,
so that my children who are back on hybrid schools, and you see their pictures in the background, my kiddos who are in high school, two of them, one kid is in that room where I would normally be. So I'm in actually our family room,
mhm.
and it's bright and sunny, even though
It's
it's not
nice.
sunny outside. Thank
It,
you.
it quite it. Whereas I look like I'm broadcasting from the
From like
prison
from
the
abroad,
prison waiting room, I'm going to hold up a newspaper that to show that
that's where
I've been taken hostage. but same thing. I'm working remotely, for right now as well.
yeah,
Not all the time, but when I can, because again, I'm happy that I'm able to do that. Thankful for
the small
the,
miracles.
the small miracles of technology and for the flexibility in employment and all that. Okay, so we've expressed our gratitude. We can move on. So, Penny, it
Yes.
is now 2021. We have thankfully put 2020 aside. Boy, what a year that was. But anyway, so it's 2021, and I think for a long time Jews resisted the whole New Year's resolution thing. Like we thought somehow that was just like non-Jewish. We weren't supposed to even acknowledge that it was a new year and all that kind of
Well, they
stuff.
call it Yom Sylvester
Well,
in
that's
Israel.
December 31st, I think that
Well,
there's
yeah, like New
something.
Year's, but they
Right.
call it, and when
Right.
I was little, I used to think it was about Sylvester the cat with
Well,
the really
I
bad
still think that when I hear Sylvester. So
hair.
let's talk about, even though I don't know if we're supposed to or not, but let's talk about New Year's resolutions. And I think this is a great time because all of us, everyone, just us micro and everyone around us macro, is undergoing this huge period of transition.
Wait,
Um,
use big words for me.
all right,
Micro.
just we're
Yeah.
changing. Don't worry. Okay. How are, I guess the question is, with all the changes and everything that we've been doing and not doing, and do you
And the
have
glitches
any?
in our technology.
Exactly. I think I resolved to just get as many new electronic toys as I possibly can. Do you have any New Year's resolutions that you have thought of and that you'd like to commit to? Anything? We can
New
we
Year's
can we can
resolution that
phrase it. We can phrase it in any kind of way. Is there anything you've been doing differently that you want to continue, that you want to maintain in the coming year? Is there anything that maybe you haven't yet, but you see an opportunity and you want to make this change for 2021?
so it's funny that you should ask that. Matt. It's always funny.
It was
Here's
fun.
the situation.
I'd be delivering a eulogy at a funeral, and you're like, "It's funny that you say that, man."
Actually, wait, can I just tangent because I'm going to for a second? I did a funeral one time.
Or as we call it here, Tuesday.
Yeah. Get another drink. We can't even order anyone to make us drinks. We actually have to do it ourselves
I
now.
know that's horrible.
No, I gotta tell you, it's horrible. I gotta tell you, I was at a funeral once, officiating a funeral. I have to. It was around this time.
Penny and a minister walk into a funeral and they say,
Sorry. There, whatever. What was the question? Oh, the funny thing that you
It's
asked.
your quite your tangent. You take it where you want it.
I was going to talk about what the son-in-law of the deceased said about his mother-in-law, who enjoyed movies or enjoyed books about um, having intimate relations with pirates, but that was one of those moments where I was like,
There's a little conversation going in my head right now while you're talking about how I'm going to edit all this out later.
I know.
But you just go ahead and keep on talking. Don't worry about anything.
Don't worry, I'm just gonna keep on talking. Stay right here. No, okay, but it's, the situation that you bring up of thinking of resolutions,
Yes.
and even the idea, the possibility that I would even follow through with any of those resolutions.
So nobody ever follows through with resolutions. I mean, nobody ever does. That's why the gyms, when there were gyms, are always like full in January and then they empty out in February. So I guess the question is, what do you have in mind? Like, if in a perfect world, what's your resolution? And if you want, I can start first, but I talk too much, and I want you to go.
Well, one of my every year I make the same resolution, and it lasts for about 28 seconds. And that resolution is, I'm not going to swear as much.
Why? I mean, first of all, it's ridiculous you would even think to resolve that, because you know how unrealistic it is. But why? Why waste your time worrying about swearing when it's often the most interesting and humorous part of anyone's personality? You should resolve to swear more.
Because that is a really good. Well, the funny thing is, it's not. I keep on saying this like my catchphrase. You know, if this is my only vice, right? I'm not shoplifting.
I don't know.
If this is my only vice,
This is like Penny Myers swears a lot, not a shoplifter.
I did not shoplift these shoes.
As far as you know.
That's right. No. I paid for them.
Okay.
With money and not someone else's ID.
Penny.
Focus. Why? We're so out of practice. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. I'm so out of practice.
Yeah, we haven't done this in a while. We have to get back.
I know. So one of my resolutions for this year is, in all seriousness though, is I'm going to work very hard to be kinder to myself. Now I got to tell you,
that's a great resolution.
You're gonna like skip over that, right? And you're just gonna go right to yours.
No, I want to hear more about this. This is like perfect.
We as you know, it is, and we have, and the entire world has experienced. It has been a poopy year for everybody.
Keeping your resolution in for right now.
Resolution intact for the young listeners, or any listener who'd be offended by any thing I would say when I'm not wearing a kippah.
Mm-hmm.
I am really tough on myself. I'm really hard on myself, and I'm hoping. I'm actually studying Musar now, which is.
We explain that for everybody. I mean, you're studying it.
I just started.
Is it like the moral?
It's like
the moral code or something.
Ethics. It's like,
right.
It's like you have these midot, these characteristics, and you always start, and from a place of humility, of anava. So in the practice of learning Musar, you always start according to Alan Moranis's book. Everyday Holiness. I think that's what it's called. So I'm starting in a place of humility, no more than my place, no more than my space, just recognizing that while I am sometimes cantankerous, and I can be...
that should be our word for next podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it should be.
I'll remember that. Okay, go ahead.
And that's with a C, the first part of the word.
I get you.
And I can be kind of grouchy and very critical of myself.
I've seen you critical of yourself, and honestly, I have never seen you grouchy. Maybe you save that for home. I've never seen you grouchy, and I bet all of our friends and colleagues who know us, who are listening,
Oh no,
I think maybe that's a side of you people don't see.
oh,
Not that you're not entitled to be grouchy. I'm just saying.
no, I'm allowed to be, yeah, I'm allowed to be grouchy. But like being kinder with myself. So for
Mhm.
example, today, before you and I even we were supposed to record earlier, and I was grateful that you said let's move it a little back. You had some things you wanted to do, and I'm thinking, perfect. I'll go for a run. I'll take a shower.
That was one of the things I wanted to do. So
I did not run yet
okay,
today. I probably won't because we're at our conference online
right.
and it's on Pacific Standard Time, which means 3 hours behind us.
You get
Which
much more time during the early part of the day, but then it runs late at night.
right. So I'm working very hard on not beating myself up and being kinder to myself. That um, I haven't ran. I probably won't run today, and that's okay.
Yeah. You have to give as they say, you have to give yourself permission for all sorts of things, and don't. And I'm sure you're much harder on yourself than you are for anybody else that you know.
Especially you.
Um,
Oh
right.
yeah. No, I'm harder on you. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
no, you're not that hard on me. That's all right. But and that's also like an
That's
aspect of
only because
self.
we're recording.
Right. Off. Right. Everybody. As soon as the camera light goes off,
Yeah,
all
forget it.
bets are off.
All
Okay,
bets, yeah.
right.
All
But
bets.
that's like an aspect of proper self care, and being kinder to yourself is taking better care of yourself. And I can't think of a better resolution. I mean, for anybody and for
What is yours?
you for 2020, with all the changes that we've been making in our professional life and technology, and we've talked about it before, and it's sort of already cliche now, but I want to I want to take all the things that we've been doing in a different way, and I want to resolve to keep them going, even when we don't have to, and even when the situation in the world doesn't necessitate that we do that. For an example, before all of this hit, and Penny, that many of our it was a joke that many of our colleagues had basically never heard me sing before in anyone.
Right. Wait,
Right. I
you
mean,
sing?
exactly. I mean, I went like almost 30 years of my career, happy, successful, everything great, but no one had ever heard me sing outside of Scotch Plains, New Jersey. There were no recordings, no way to hear it. Just like, well, come to services, you hear me sing. I have been more out there,
I know. It's kind
right?
of
You
scary.
you can't flip anyone's Facebook feed without seeing Matt Axelrod.
That
Matt Axelrod,
actual
Matt
was
Axelrod did
live.
this. I did this video, and I recorded this, and I made this, and then and it's
You're like
so
different like versions of yourself, like
yeah,
multiple
yeah,
soundtracks.
yeah. And so I've discovered that I really like doing that. Now I've kind of saturated the airways, but it's been an outlet. It's been this fun side of my personality that I didn't know, and I want to, even when I don't need, even if we stop, creating fun videos and we all can get together in person again, I would like to still keep that going. And because it's very fulfilling.
You-
It's fun, and it's fulfilling professionally and fulfilling personally.
yeah. No, I hear you. Do you think, first of all, we've had this discussion before, I think at the beginning of, not even at the beginning of pandemic, it might have been in Palm Springs together last year. We discussed, maybe it was New York. I don't know. I can't remember. One of the many places that we've recorded. We discussed what the future
Hmm.
of Judaism
I
looks like.
remember that. Yep.
And I wonder if you're prophesizing at that point.
Um,
Do you remember what you
Interesting.
said?
Uh,
Are you shocked that I used the word prophesizing and
Sizing.
your name, you Matt Axelrod?
Wow,
And
I'm a prophet. Oh, well, the word chazan is from the word chazon, which means vision. Okay, so that okay. Um, I I think I think that all the conditions of the pandemic have accelerated all the changes that we were going to see anyway. Um,
maybe this is for good, or
well, I mean, I have written and blogged, and I've opined about all of this,
I
in
did
the
nothing.
past, that people tend to resist change. Obviously, that's an obvious statement, but that this has forced us, whether we wanted to or not, to think outside the box and to embrace technology and customs in ways that, you know, probably would have happened eventually, but maybe over 10 years versus over 6 months. And
We have reinvented communal worship
yeah, yeah. And,
by
and then,
necessity, by necessity.
right. And the naysayers will say, this is the death knell of synagogue life. All the, you know, no one's going to need synagogues anymore. And everyone's just going to, and I'm seeing exact opposite. I don't think that's the case at all. I think if anything, this has strengthened synagogue life. This has created an increased connection, and people love what we've been doing. It's forced us to reevaluate our relationships with our jobs, with our careers, our profession, our calling. It's forced us to reevaluate what it's like to, you know, our relationship at home and what it's like to be home all the time. And, you know, we're around each other a lot more at home. And
Yeah, I gotta say,
hopefully it's a good thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
my husband and I, Bennett and I, always have said since March, best thing for our family, there's 5 of us here in our nuclear house, I guess you'd call it, and the dogs, that's 6.
Mhm.
The best thing, that one of my cherished, fondest memories of this time, or will be of this time when I reflect and look back, is going to be, we all 5 of us had dinner together every
Yeah.
single night. And my Herschel, my oldest, Hunter, would say, man, when this pandemic is over, you're never going to see me for like 5 years because I spent so much family time at the house. And I'm like, please God, but Ezra Hashem, you know, quick, you know.
He's going to remember this year.
He's going to remember this year, and we are going to remember our constant phone calls with tech, you know, with our service providers, with our technology. He's going to remember those family dinners. And I certainly, it's something that you really, you know, you don't realize what you're missing sometimes until it's gone, or until you haven't fully immersed and experienced it.
But it's amazing that I think we're both, and hopefully other people are as well, able to express appreciation for it, like to recognize while it's happening, and to you know, we've had a bit of topic creep, right? We set out to do a New Year's resolution episode, and in fact, it really turned into an attitude of gratitude, as some people say, episode.
I do that. I'm guilty of saying that.
But I that was sort of where our feelings took us. I think it was, you know.
Wait a second.
To talk about.
Wait, this got a little bit too.
It did. All right. My resolution is to stick only with humor for every other episode from now on. Okay. And to break out of this prison.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I gotta say though, Matt, it's you know, New Year's resolutions. I mean, sure. I mean, I want to be healthier and take better care of myself, but I think intrinsically, like our own neshamot, our own souls, need to be nurtured. We do an excellent job, I think, as clergy, of nurturing our congregants and people's neshamot, their souls, and where we don't do a great job, where we miss the mark, is taking care of our own self-care, our own
all the time. Yep.
All the time.
Right. The very trite and cliche oxygen mask thing, where you put your own on first and help others later.
Do you feel guilty about doing it when you take self-care?
No, absolutely not.
Is that a guy? Is that a male thing?
What, self-care or what?
Not feeling guilty for taking.
I mean, there's another episode, but I think women are socialized to think of others first and themselves second, in a way maybe that men are not. That we can talk about that. We can explore that little tidbit I just dropped another time, but I don't feel guilty. I don't feel guilty for doing what I need to do. Sometimes I don't do it, or I don't realize, or I don't spend the time, but I don't feel guilty when I do.
I want to feel less guilty this year.
You know what, right there. That's a great resolution. Just feel less guilty.
I feel less guilty.
Seriously. Yeah. Right.
Yes. I mean, I don't know if that's like intrinsically like built in us as Jews or as human beings or as gender specific, but I want to feel less guilty or apologetic about
Yes.
about the choices that I make
I
that
got one.
are, yeah,
I,
safe and healthy for me.
I resolved to interrupt less. I apologize, but
I
I
resolve
was
to not laugh at you as much.
okay. No, do that. I got one for you. You should resolve to take the words "I'm sorry" out of your vocabulary as much as you possibly can.
Do I say that a lot?
No,
Oh my God, I'm
not
so
that
sorry.
I
Should I
notice,
say it again?
not
I'm
that I notice, but it's a common thing where you just are conditioned to say, "Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. I'm
I
sorry."
spoke about this at Slichot, and that was my session. I was probably the only cantor who didn't talk
Mhm.
about, you know, and I spoke, my topic was, must we forgive? Are we martyring ourselves or are we modeling ourselves? Have we
Mm.
just been conditioned
Mhm.
to
Right.
easily apologize or, this is Musar. This is humility in a sense of, no more than my place, no more than my space. This teaching of just, no apologies, God forbid I should hurt someone's feelings, but, or offend somebody in any actions that this guy, I can't
All
be
right. Okay. All right.
serious.
Well, our time is
Time is up
coming to
anyway.
an end anyway. But for all of our audience members, we promise to be way more upbeat next time.
Yeah,
Okay.
we need to be in
Okay.
person, man.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, we'll listen. We had
2021,
it's
baby.
been a while since we did a podcast, and we're gonna get back in our routine. So we just had to catch up with each other and see where things are going. And we're ready to launch a whole new season.
That's right.
2021 is
New
gonna be
Jersey is looking good, Matt.
that absolutely. All right. So Penny, I lift my glass to you. I toast you, and we look forward to many, many more successful episodes of our podcast in the coming year.
And we're not
And
going to apologize if we don't make you laugh.
and and I bet later in the year we'll actually get to go back into our bar and order old fashions and sit next to each other. Anyway, so the next time we get together, and assuming you're joining us and able to be with us, as we always like to say,
The
the
drinks
drinks
are
are
on.
on us.